glad to be with you today and to share Richard's and my what Richard's and my guides have shared with us in our book, Lessons from Oneness, which was truly a collaboration with our guides. Your power of the month is love, and I'll be talking about light, which our guides say is interchangeable with love. Actually, they say that light is the substance of love. Light is also the energy that sustains the entire universe. You and I are the energy of light, and so is our planet. We have all incarnated into an energy that is at a lower frequency than other parts of the universe. A frequency that is, in fact, so slowed down that we find ourselves immersed in a world of matter. We all chose to come into this material plane so that we could have experiences that happen at a rate of speed so that our lessons for growth resonate all the better for us. So really coming to the earth plane is both a challenge and a privilege. In John 10:34, Jesus Christ said to his listeners, "You are God's, and greater things than I have done, you shall do." And yet, we resist taking Jesus at his word. So why is that? Perhaps it is because we are so anchored in our physical body that we believe our physical body, is our true self. How can we possibly be divine? As the affirmation said, when we knock our head or stub our toe and it hurts. And I know because I stubbed my toe last night. And the answer, of course, is that our physical body is not our true self, but only dust to dust. Our true self is eternally expanding light. One of the things that I've learned from communicating with my guides, and it took me a while before I had the epiphany, is that they perceive us as orbs of many-colored light energy rather than our physical body. So you could see this as our auras greatly contracted into a beautiful ball of light, or maybe as Carillion photography. Of course, they've got the ability to see us in our physical bodies, but you got to think, why would they when our physical body is just a temporary mask, and that's all it is? They prefer to see the light that we are, our true self, meaning all that we are and all that we ever have been. And for me, this evokes the popular meaning of namaste, which is the light in me sees the light in you. If you say, I am a child of God, what you are really saying is, I am an extension of God, which is what Jesus meant when he said, you are God's. He didn't say, I'm a God and you're not. And he didn't say, you're stepchildren of God. He said, you are God's. You are a living, breathing extension of God. Carl Jung put it another way when he said, I am a sliver of the infinite deity. You might also think of yourself as a particle of God. This is why the most profound advice that you will ever get in your lifetime is the two words, know thyself. Know that you are a divine spark. If I were to ask you to close your eyes and envision God, it might be a bit of a challenge for you. And I think a lot of people would probably evoke something like the image of Michelangelo's God in the Sistine Chapel. And It's ironic, isn't it, that we are so immersed in our physicality that we make God in our image rather than the other way around. So let me give you another perspective. The scholar of ancient Aramaic, Neil Douglas Klotz, has spent decades, in fact, the better part of his life, translating the language that Jesus spoke to his disciples. Ancient Aramaic was like any language spoken today. It was a unique language. It's not like Hebrew. It's not like Arabic. It was unique. It was unique in its structure. And here's the first line of the Lord's Prayer in ancient Aramaic, where we say, "Our Father, which art in heaven." Jesus actually said, "O cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration." Isn't that beautiful? O cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration. That is our source, and we ourselves are eternal radiance and vibration. The light that fuels the universe is your inheritance, and you are light beings, and you are vibration. Our guides tell us that we can raise our vibration and change our reality. Beginning now, we have the ability to essentially raise our frequency of energy, and in doing so, move to a higher dimension of being, which means shifting away from the material world. For those of you who were around in 1969, you might remember a song by the Fifth Dimension called "The Age of Aquarius." It's also called "Let the Sunshine In." Though it's not said in so many words, this was actually a song about raising our light to a new way of living. So now it's time to raise that vibration, your vibration. In Lessons from Oneness, there is a chapter titled "Becoming the Master of Your Reality." And in it, the guides suggest 3 disciplines for increasing your vibration or frequency, and by doing so, changing your reality. They say the disciplines we're suggesting are neither arcane nor difficult. In fact, they're easy to achieve, but they do require practice and sincere, steady application. Those disciplines are intention, stillness, and reflection. Those disciplines are about the awareness of whom you are and how you are using your light. Because remember, you are energy, so you are conductors of that energy. You can raise it. The next chapter enumerates 10 additional tools for raising your frequency and changing your reality. To be clear, this is a gradual process. But if you practice the suggestions, you will see changes in your everyday life that include much clearer manifesting and things falling into place through synchronicity. In that case, synchronicity will mean that your daily life will be in sync with all the things that you call to you. And I'll give you a beautiful example of synchronicity. You've heard of the great psychic and prophet Edgar Cayce, I'm sure. Well, he had a bad habit, and that was that he loved to go fishing, and he would spend the household income on fishing supplies. And much to his wife's consternation, they'd come up short every so often. And they were sitting around the dining room table with their children, and his wife said to Edgar Cayce, "We don't have enough money for the winter heating oil." And Cayce says, "Don't worry about it. It'll be all right." And Minutes later, while they're still sitting at the table, there's a knock on the door. And Edgar Casey goes to the door, and standing out on the porch is a telephone linesman. And he says to Edgar Casey, "We're replacing a telephone pole down the block, and we were wondering if it would be all right with you if we cut the old telephone pole into pieces and stack them for you as firewood." That's synchronicity. And when it happens, it means that you're in the flow of the universe and in sync with what you've called to yourself. I'll finish by telling a little story. Back in 2007, Oprah Winfrey was interviewing a man named John Diaz. This was back when Oprah was doing programs that were still a little of sensationalism. And she was interviewing John Diaz because he had survived a horrific plane crash, and I think was the sole survivor. Now, what had happened was a major airliner had made a crash landing, and as it did, a fireball went through the whole fuselage. And Oprah said to John Diaz, "What did you learn from that experience?" And this is a great question for an interviewer to ask, because it's bound to elicit something interesting or profound. And it's a good question for us to ask ourselves after every major experience, or even minor ones, because all of our experiences have the potential to be great learning lessons, means for growth and expansion. So Oprah said, "What did you learn from that experience?" And John Diaz said that when he got up to go through the exit, he looked over his shoulder. And this is happening in split-second time. He looked over his shoulder and he saw all the other passengers still buckled into their seats, consumed in flames, burning up. And he said as he looked at them, he saw light leaving their bodies. And he knew intuitively that he was seeing souls leaving the bodies. And he said some of the souls had bright light and big light. And he said other people had smaller light and dimmer light. And he said to Oprah, "What I learned is that when I leave this planet, I want to leave as a bright light." And that can be your goal. And the great news for you is you don't have to go through a plane crash to realize it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm going to speak today about, well, the title is The Presence of a Way Shower, which fits right in with what Mark's message was. I'm going to talk about what being a way shower entails, what a way shower's presence causes, and let you know one simple action anyone can do that allows you to become more of a way shower. Someone who lights the path for all those who are not yet aware of where they're going is a way shower. Someone who shows up as the best version of yourself that they can be, then they're known as a way shower. By expanding consciousness and light, they are known as a way shower. Light, as Mark has said, is the substance of love. master souls like Jesus, Krishna, and many, many others lit up the paths of and encouraged many by being themselves. They were known for their light and their actions. Mark mentioned the awareness that John Diaz, the survivor of the airplane crash, had made in witnessing the different degrees of escaping light from the burning bodies. You and me and everyone are a condensed form of light in the form of atoms and molecules and an aspect of your true eternal light. Everyone's a way shower to some degree. You have no idea how much you resonate to others because of your light. Some call it charisma. It is your responsibility to conduct right energy in this life by being your best self. Our lesson 6 talks a lot about this. Why? Metaphorically, your auric field is like a filament in a light bulb. The more current you put in it, the brighter it gets. And that can be measured in lumens or watts. The more you open up to your eternal light, your true self, the brighter you radiate. Jesus is often depicted in artwork with a halo. It was visible and it probably was felt. Now, how do you measure that? It's frequency. Like Mark was speaking, frequency. Now, Jesus, his mastery is related directly to the frequency he commanded, subsequently increasing his luminosity. And this is measured in megahertz. You actually can measure this. Now let's look at the 3 qualities characteristic of any way shower. Number 1, way showers have an effect on all life and are felt by others. And nature responds to light. You have a unique signature and are known in the universe by the love that you are. And we all do. A friend of mine had witnessed during her college days the presence of the Dalai Lama at a symposium. As he walked by, she said she could really feel his energy. Masters affect life. Has anyone done the love experiment in nature? It's like you put your face very close to a lightweight flower in a garden, and then you say with intention from your heart, I love you, over and over again. The plant will bend towards your face. It's really amazing. You got to try it. And recently I found out that that frequency that you've generated is 528 megahertz, right? And it's the mid-tone of this solfeggio scale. Do you know that scale?
Yes.
Yeah. And that is a DNA repair tone, and is often referred to as the love frequency. Number 2, the way showers affect reality. They have the power to change what's happening in the outer world through the use of their love, magnetize to them things and experiences that become more their purpose. They become a sphere of influence to life and its existence. Everyone can have a sphere of influence. Who in your life would you like to be more like? Think about that for a second. And I want to say Peter's shadow in Acts 5:15 through 16 says that in the early church, people brought the sick into the streets so that at least the shadow of Peter passing by might overshadow them and they would be healed. More recently, Sai Baba, often referred to as Sai Baba, was claimed to materialize and produce a golden egg-shaped object from his mouth. That's an effect. So in review, the qualities of Waisha are, number one, are they affect all life and they affect reality. Number three, they reflect their true self in all they say and do. In a stable way, life becomes a teaching and learning tool, filled with synchronicity and dominion, not only of their outer world, but also the mastery of the inner world. Folks, it's an inside job. In mastering your inner world, your cosmic connections become stronger and the more light becomes available to you. This is something that everyone can do. Who wouldn't want to affect life, affect reality, and reflect their true self? First of all, it's a process, and the process takes as long as it takes. Do you want to know how to kickstart that process and become more like a Wayshower? Anybody?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Here's the secret. The secret is by doing something you love to do. Do something that gives you the most joy and follow it until it doesn't. It's very simple. Like, if you have a hobby, do the hobby. If you want to read a book, read a book. And when you don't want to do that anymore, find the next thing that you really enjoy to do and keep it going. I'll be talking about more about that in a minute. Find whatever you choose to do, find something that brings your attention to the state of enjoying so much that you lose track of time. When this happens, you're in the now. And this is a place where time doesn't exist. This is a place that anything is possible. The more you stay in this place, the more life changes towards what you prefer to do. Maybe some of the problems that you thought were large will simply fade away. But I'm not saying that you're not going to have challenges, but the challenges will be small stones instead of boulders. There's only one rule to follow when you're doing this. And here it is. When you choose to follow your joy, you must not expect any outcomes. Use your choice of excitement to symbolize that passion. Let your true self, and it always happens, let your true self bring to you the outcome, because it's always going to support you. It's always going to be better than you think. And this is the language that your true self uses, your passion, whatever you're passionate about. It's trying to tell you, follow it. So get your passion moving and doing, and follow it until it doesn't excite you anymore. But don't stop there. Find another one and keep it going. You may have 2, 3, 4 passions going on at the same time. By doing this process, it may lead to something that you did not even think about. You might even Synchronicity will increase and your life becomes more of what you prefer because you're practicing it. And your circle of brothers and sisters are going to notice something different in you. Even if you have a job or a task that it's not your favorite thing to do, set some time in your day to do just what you love to do. And keep it up. Do it every day. Start with 30 minutes and build up from there. When I was working in the corporate world, I had a 4-day work week, and I had Fridays off, so I would plan Fridays to work in my workshop and do projects around the house. And I did every day. I did the things on Friday, but every day I would go buy materials for that project. I would envision that project finished. So I did something every day that I enjoyed to make my Friday really good. And I think that everybody can do that. It's very simple. But you gotta be rhythmic. You gotta do it every day and promise yourself that you're gonna do it. So in closing, I would like to read a scripture summing all of this up. It comes from 1 John 4:16. So we know and rely on the love of God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. Say after me, I am a way shower.
I am a way
Again.
shower. I am a way shower.
Thank you very much for this time.